Good morning. Happy Thursday. Hope everyone's having a great week and welcome to another episode of The Hunt. I'm Kevin Roth, as you can see down there somewhere, future Webby nominee, hopefully, but also host of this show that's dedicated towards helping all the job seekers out there and hiring managers make smarter decisions when it comes to navigating the recruitment landscape. So I'm managing director at Advice. We're a recruitment agency that specializes in the New York market, and we bring this show to you. Used to be once a week, now every so often, to bring topics to light that people seem to be struggling with and battling with when going through the recruitment process. So I thank you all for tuning in. And the great thing about this show is, number one, we're live, so anything could happen. Number two, you can comment in real time. So if you're going through situations that relate to the topic or even off topic, use the comment box throughout the show, chime in. I'd love to give you any insight that I can while we're all here together. So I hope you enjoyed the episode, but the best thing, interact with us, tell me where you're watching from, and always makes it that much better if I could tailor my advice specifically to you. So thanks for tuning in. And today's episode was one that really got me very enthusiastic in a situation I dealt with last week. So many of you out there right now that are in the job market are fortunate enough to have multiple opportunities to consider. And most of us, when going through a search, we want multiple opportunities, right? It's so tough to like see the first thing and know that that's right. We want to know that we had a basis of comparison. But what I'm seeing more and more is with companies getting desperate, they're putting ultimatums on offers. So you're going through the process, you just met with the very first company, and boom, offer comes in and they tell you, we need an answer in 24 hours or we have to move on in a different direction. So I wonder if any of you out there comment if you've been faced with this dilemma, because I'd be curious how many of you have really encountered this, but it's coming up more and more. And I was almost distraught to hear on the other end of the line, someone that I was working with, that it was their first opportunity they considered. They really wanted, you could tell they wanted to explore more of the market, but they were so fearful of losing this job and risking it because this company was telling them they needed an answer by tomorrow. So this episode is catered towards those individuals out there, those of you watching who have been put in this situation or are wondering if this situation occurred, how would you handle it? I'm going to take you through the steps, guide you through everything to do if this happens. And if it does come up, you're going to be well prepared and armed to tackle this situation in real time. So the very first thing to understand is, and I've been doing this almost 10 years, I can count on one hand in 10 years where every day is spent giving offers and negotiating. I can count on one hand the times I've had a client put an ultimatum at a day or 2 days or less. It really doesn't happen often. So first thing to realize is most of the time, if you're working with a recruiter, some of us are more morally conscious than others. And there are those out there, the recruiter will take certain liberties and tell you the company needs an answer in 24 hours or they're moving on. And that might not even be the case. So take everything with a grain of salt. But if you are faced with that situation, you're afraid of losing that opportunity, the very first thing you do, go direct to the company. Don't go through the recruiter unless you have a real trusting relationship with that individual and you really feel that they have your best interest, they're being honest and loyal to you, then obviously use that resource. But otherwise, reach out to the company directly. Reach out to whoever your contact point has been and explain the situation. Let them know you value the offer, you appreciate everything, you're really excited about it. You can't tell them how much you appreciate it, but it's been a crazy week at work. You haven't even had a chance to sit down and digest the information. You'd love if they could give you like 3 more days. You can get back to them. If it's a Friday, you can get back to them by like first thing Monday, or you can get back to them by middle of next week. Set a specific day. But show them that you really appreciate. This should be over the phone so they can hear your tone and hear how genuine you're being. All right, so you plead your case. At that point, one of two things is going to happen. One, more often than not, the company's going to say, no, we appreciate it. I understand what you're going through. We want this to be the right decision for you. So sure, if you can get back to us by Tuesday morning, we can make that work and I'd be happy to give you that time. Great. So now you have a chance early next week to fast track the other opportunities, at least get through 1 or 2 more conversations before you have to accept and commit to an offer. Second thing that happens is the negative, right? They come back and they say, I'm sorry, we have this backup candidate. We can't afford to lose them. And I understand where you're coming from, but we need an answer by tomorrow or we have to move on, right? This is where you have to do right by yourself. If you're facing that situation, and again, if any of you out there have dealt with this, please chime in and ask specific questions around it. Use the comment box, and I'll do my best to navigate through those specific scenarios. But if you are faced with that dilemma, you've gone to this company, you pleaded your case, you asked for a little more time, and they tell you, no, we really need an answer by tomorrow, unfortunately. First thing that should be going through your mind is this really a place that I want to work? I asked for another day or two. They're rushing me into a decision. Is something wrong there? Why are they desperate? Or better yet, if they're that quick that in 24 hours I can't give an answer, that this role is universal enough that they could just move on from me and have a different candidate fill the void? Like, do they really even like me for me, or do they just need this job filled and anybody will work? So think about those things first. But I still understand we're still talking about a job offer that you don't want to lose. So if you're faced with that situation, your only logical move is accept the offer and still pursue those other opportunities, at least through enough conversations to determine that you explored your options and are committed to the one you accepted. So who out there's freaking out when you hear that? I don't want to give my word and then take it back. I feel guilty. I can't do that to a company. I really don't think that's the right move. It's not me. I don't want to lie. I don't want to mislead them. Throw all that out the window and stop feeling guilty. I'll give you an example. I was just overseas in Italy with my wife, and she's usually a TJ Maxx shopper and loves bargains, but we were in Italy. You get this tax refund back when you come back, so we figured, let's go for it. Let's do some fancy shopping and see what she can find. And she really needed a handbag. So she goes to the very first store and falls in love with this one bag. And she's talking to the salesperson. Salesperson says to her, it's telling her all the perks about the bag, how rare it is. It's unique. It's not even found in the United States. So here's my poor wife at the very first store feeling like she's got to have this bag, which it's only the first place she's been with. So she needs to, she'd ideally like to check out some other places. So she says to the salesperson, I really love the bag, but I'd love to check out, one or two more stores. Can I come back? What time are you guys open till? Salesperson says, and how many of you have been in this situation? The bag probably won't be here when you get back. I have a customer coming in like 5-10 minutes that's coming back, and they're probably going to take this bag. So I can pretty much guarantee you this bag won't be here when you return. So what do? Right? This bag might not be here, but it's also the only bag that you've seen. You're spending a lot of money on this, so it's an important decision. He's telling you the bag won't be there if you leave. But then again, on a side note, there's a 14-day return policy. So what's the smart move? Obviously, buy the bag, go shop around. If you find another bag that's better, then yeah, you got to tuck your tail between your legs and go tell the salesperson, sorry, I have to return this. I found a better bag. But if you don't find a better bag, then you stick with the original one that you already have in your that you're carrying around already, and you're good to go. You don't sit there feeling guilty. Oh, I feel terrible. The salesperson's going to lose their commission. They're never going to survive. They'll get by just like a company will get by. So don't worry about all this guilty feeling of, you're going to ruin this company. You're going to burn bridges. You're never going to be able to do that. The only situation in which you have to go back and rescind your acceptance is if you find something great enough that you realize it's the better move for you and the smart career move. And in that situation, yes, step up, tell the company, I'm sorry, but at the end of the day, they put you in a position where you had no other choice. They backed you against the wall, told you if you don't give an answer, they have to pull the offer. That's the only option you had, so don't feel guilty. They set themselves up for this by giving you that ultimatum, and you did the smart thing by you. So those of you out there that are dealing with this timeline, keep in mind it's a candidate-centric market right now, and if you've been fortunate enough to have other companies that want to meet with you, that should show you your marketability. If you're facing an expiring offer and this ticking time bomb and it's going to self-destruct, and you're not going to have any job and you start freaking out, stop thinking like that. But if your back's against the wall, accept the offer if that's what they're forcing you to do because they're not willing to give you any more time, and have your cake and eat it too. Check out one or two other opportunities in the meantime, and then if you don't find anything that's better than the original, you already have that offer accepted. You're playing with house money. But if you do come across a situation where you have a conversation a day later with another company that you realize this is the better move for me, then take that other job and go back and tell the company, I apologize. I didn't mean to go like this, but with the time sensitive nature, I felt obligated to accept, but this other one came back around and it's the right move for me. And I'm sorry. And quite frankly, if they were that quick to move from you to the backup candidate, I think they'll be fine. Clearly, they seem to be having plenty of options as backups, so they're going to survive. You spend more time at work. Remember this, the last closing comment. You spend more time at work, doing work, I should say, not at work so much anymore with a lot of remote. You spend more time at work, thinking about work, worried about work, discussing work, than you do in any other part of your life, your adult life. So if thinking about that, are you willing to spend a majority of your life in something that wasn't as ideal because you felt guilty potentially going back to the company and backing out of an offer? Or should you do the right thing by you and set yourself up for your own happiness and satisfaction and stop feeling guilty about a company that treated you in a way where you have this ultimatum you got to get back on? So I appreciate the comments chiming in. Rochelle, I'm sorry to hear that you're not even getting to this offer stage, but if you shoot me a message after, we'll see if we can link you up with someone on my team here. Maybe they can help get you in the right direction and also maybe coach you on some things you could do a little differently in the interview process that might help. And a few of the other users, I appreciate you chiming in. Jenna Roth clapping there. That is, she's the moral of the story with the Italian bag. And we got a great bag. She's probably wearing it today at work. And it all worked out. Do what's right for you. This is your career, your life, and you got to be smart about it. So anybody that's not watching this live, chime in the comments after the show. I do my best to get back around to those afterwards, but I hope this was helpful. There's too many of you out there getting put on the clock to get back on an offer when you really need to see other things through. If that's the situation, be smart, do what's right for you, be a little selfish, take these steps, and you'll find yourself in a much better position long term and much happier and probably much more successful. So I thank you all for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed it. Share this with any friends, colleagues, network, anyone in your network who might have a sensitive side. It might be a little soft when it comes to these things because you got to step up in these situations and be a little selfish. So with that said, I hope everyone has a great rest of the week heading into the weekend. If we're not back next week with another live topic, then I hope everyone has a great Labor Day weekend to end the summer and look forward to catching up on some of your comments after the show. Take care.